Testing, testing. Is this microphone working? How will I know that the microphone is working? Hello. Do you ever have a million grand plans of making things really awesome and like the days just go and go and go and get away from you, and then all of a sudden it's the night before she's up first registration? I'm coming to you from my kitchen and I want to talk about registration, different divisions that folks can register for at our tournament, She's Up First, or at any other PDGA tournament. So the PDGA does offer a set of guidelines if you're not sure which division to register in, and I will link those PDGA guidelines in the comments. You can also find them linked on a lot of registration pages for events on Discgolfscene. But I want to talk about my opinion, I guess, is what it really is. And you can take it with a grain of salt if it applies to you and you resonate with it and you find this information helpful. Amazing. If you know someone who is feeling intimidated by all the million different divisions offered in tournaments, maybe send them this video if it resonates with you. And if you don't agree with my opinion, or I don't know, you just feel like it's wrong, then just disregard, move on. That's okay. What does the P and A stand for? P stands for professional, A stands for amateur. The biggest difference is the return that you're going to get from the event. So if you register as an amateur division, you're going to receive a player's pack. If you're playing as a professional, the bulk of your registration cost goes towards payouts. So you are competing for cash. The top 40%, depending on the size of the event, is going to get cash in each division. And where does that cash come from? It comes from the registrations. FA1 is, in my opinion, the most competitive amateur division. So this is a great place if you want to play competitively, if you are taking the competition seriously. It's the most competitive of the amateur divisions. FA2 is just below FA1, and I would consider it, and I think the PDGA does as well, as the intermediate division. So again, I think registering in this division says like, yes, I'm competitive, I'm here to compete and see where that takes me. You don't have to be the most advanced player to play FA1 or the most intermediate player to play FA2. My very first tournament that I ever played was River City Cup in 2021, and I had never played a tournament, and I registered FA1. Not because I thought I was the most advanced player. I read the PDGA guidelines. It seemed kind of like a fit, and I was like, yeah, like there's other women that are playing in FA1. I want to play with them. So you don't have to be really good skill-wise to play FA1 or FA2. My dinner is cooking. I don't know if you can hear it because I'm using this microphone. I'll be excited to see if you can hear the boiling water beside me. I didn't put the clip on this microphone yet, so I can't really do things hands-free yet. FA3. So we have FA1, we have FA2, now we're into FA3. I think the PDGA calls this division recreational, and I would really agree with that. When I think about a recreational division, I just think about folks that are registering in this division are maybe not feeling as competitive. Maybe you don't really care what your score is. You're just there to have some fun, and you don't really care if you come in first place in the division or 10th place in the division. So for me, when I think about FA3, it's less of a skill level thing and more of a like, I want to play recreationally. FA4, female amateur 4. This is an important one for us at She's Up First anyway. So FA4, the PDGA classifies as novice, and I would agree with that. I consider it like the beginners division. The reason it's important for She's Up First, there's going to be a different layout. So majority of all of the divisions at She's Up First will play the red layout at Hermitage with a little asterisk. But the FA4 division, along with the junior divisions, last year played what was called the pink layout, and that is our plan again this year. The pink layout is one that we are creating, and it's going to be a little bit shorter than the red layout at Hermitage. What does this mean? If you are someone who is brand new to disc golf and you've hardly ever even played a full 18 holes, let alone 18 holes twice in one day, and you feel like, I don't even know if I can throw that many shots, it's going to be hundreds of shots for me, and I don't know if I can make it that far around Hermitage, then register FA4. This is the layout for you. You're going to get the same experience of playing 2 rounds in a day, and you're going to get the same experience of enjoying the course, but you're going to take away a lot of that, just like when you feel like, oh, I'm just like soldiering up the hole and I'm like taking shot after shot after shot just to get to the basket. It's going to take some of that away. So, oh, my dinner. What is FA 40, FA 50, FA 60? Why do we jump from 4 all the way to 40, 50, 60? 40, 50, 60, etc. are age protected divisions, and I consider that to be a place of competitive amateur play within your age group. So if you feel like, yes, I want to be competitive, but I don't want to compete against all different ages and people that maybe have a bigger advantage over me because of their youth, then I would recommend an age protected division. So FA 40 is anyone who is 39 years old this year, like turning 40 this year. So if you're currently 39 and you're turning 40 this year, all the way up to 49, 39 to 49. If you're in your 40s, FA 40 is a really good place to be competitive with other women that are in their 40s. And then FA 50 if you're in your 50s, 60, and etc. And not just if you want to be competitive, if that's also the group of women that you want to meet and connect with at our event. If you're like, yeah, I want to connect with other women that are playing disc golf that are my age, then absolutely register FA 40 or FA 50 or FA 60. We do have mixed divisions on the cards in the first round, so you might play with a variety of women, but in the second round, you'll play within your division, so you'll meet those women that are the same age as you. FJ18, FJ15, FJ12, FJ10, and so on. The J stands for juniors, and so same as with the age protected division for 40 and up, it's an age protected division for juniors. So if you are 10 years old coming to our event and you want to play with other 10-year-olds and compete with other 10-year-olds, then you should register in FJ10 or FJ12. Last year we had FJ15, FJ12, and FJ10 at our event. Again, in the first round, it's mixed divisions, so they mostly played with their family members. But in the second round, all of the FJ10s and 12s played together on a card, and I think they had a really great time. So if you are a young girl who can meet other girls your age, then I would encourage you to register for the appropriate junior division. FPO is the Female Professional Open. So this is the highest level of female competition. You don't have to have a professional designation to play FPO. You can be an amateur player and come and play in the FPO division. If you win and cash, then you're going to have a decision to make about your designation. You can also decline the cash if you want to stay an amateur. But if you don't win and you don't cash, it doesn't matter. You can be an amateur playing in the professional division as long as you want. And then same with the age protected divisions. The after FPO, there's also FP40, FP50, FP60. So this is a place to be at the highest level of competition within your age demographic. However, and this goes for the AM divisions as well, if you are 40 or 50 or 60, you don't have to compete in the age protected divisions. You absolutely can if that's where you feel like your community is at, but you can compete anywhere you want. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is the F, female. So the female divisions are gender protected, and I want to just talk really briefly about what that means. Something that we need to remember is that a gender protected division doesn't exist because we need protection from men. It doesn't exist because men can throw further than us. It exists because women face a lot more barriers to sport and other things in life, not just sport, but a lot more barriers to sport, barrier to entry, barrier to continuing on after they do enter. We face a lot more barriers than men do. It's a part of the patriarchy. It's a part of um, being part of a marginalized group. It is a part of the systems that we have in place. Certainly, men do have a slight physical advantage in some ways, but not in all ways than women do in the sport of disc golf. And that is one piece of a pie that makes up, all the different sections, I guess, of why we need gender protection. The barrier to entry for women in sport is huge. Women face harassment on the course. Women face, I've experienced like so much joking, even just in casual play, as recent as last year, from men in my community that make jokes about sexual innuendos and all kinds of things like that make me feel uncomfortable on the course. And I am someone who I feel like is a pretty strong advocate for women's visibility on the course, and I am often made to feel uncomfortable on the course. And so having a gender protected division is protection from that. There are, financial aspects of barrier to entry, like it or not, as a generalization. And men make more money than women, and they have more disposable income than women. And then there's the time constraints, which is another big barrier to entry. Women are caregivers for children or for family members far more often than men, and that means that they have to sometimes make more sacrifices than men. And those sacrifices can be really simple things, like not spending as much time playing the sport that they love. Well, if you don't spend as much time golfing as another person, you're not going to be as competitive as them, because golf is all about consistency. And so if women, just because of all of the constraints of life, don't get out to the course as often as men, they're not going to be as competitive as men. And that is another, reason that we need a gender protected division. So the reason I'm giving you this big speech, and the reason that I'm explaining it in sort of this light with this information first, is to say that I do really feel strongly and really advocate for folks that are not cis women. So trans women, folks that identify as non-binary, still having a place in our female protected division. I just want to say that it's really important to recognize that trans women and non-binary folks and queer folks face a lot more barriers to sport than women do. So protecting the women's division is about protecting anybody who faces those barriers. It's just as simple as that. There are some PDGA rules surrounding this, and I can certainly drop that link below as well. There's, it's a big governing body, and there is an eligibility requirement for trans women in the competition. If you are someone who is sort of caught in the crossfire of all of that, but you're really interested in playing our event and you're not sure how to make it happen, worst case scenario, we could also open up like an MA1 division for some queer folks to join in the event, play alongside all of us. Like I said, the first round is mixed divisions anyway on the cards. So I think there's a lot of creative ways that we can work within the policy so that everybody who wants to play in this event can play in this event. Thanks again for watching. My dinner is ready through all that chit chat. Ooh, so good. Yeah, I hope this video was helpful if you're not sure which division to register for. Again, a lot of that is just my opinion. You should register for whatever division feels the most in line with what you want to get